What is going on, my friends and family? Welcome back to another video here on Team Acne. I'm very excited because we are bringing back interviews, which we haven't done in quite a while. And I have one of my very special friends, someone who is kind of newer to the acne positivity and the skin positivity movement, but she has a fantastic Instagram. Really excited to dive into a lot of different things that she can give you guys insight on, talk about her own skin and issues and acne that she's been dealing with, and like kind of the way that she's approaching all that. But I want to say a big thank you and welcome to this interview, Alexandra. How you doing?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brian. I'm really pumped to be here.
I'm super stoked to have you here. For those people who don't know you, can you give us like a little quick intro? What's your name? What's your social media? And maybe like when did your acne kind of start?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Alexandra Breeze. On Instagram, my name is Alexandra_Breeze, and I am a self-proclaimed acne flaunter. So this is something that is relatively new for me. I've struggled with acne for the latter part of, say, 10 years. I'm 27 years old, and I first started breaking out when I was 14, so freshman in high school. Essentially, my acne subsided for a little bit of time, and it came raging back last year with this intense cystic breakout, and I've sort of taken on a new approach to, self-love and looking at myself in the mirror and, being kind and embracing the things that I see myself for, and my self-worth is not based on my skin. And so I've sort of taken on this new mindset regarding my acne and what you see on my face, and I'm moving forward in an embracing manner.
I love it. When I first saw your Instagram maybe a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, I was like, this is such an awesome page because, one, your aesthetic on it is really good. You've done like this nice orange kind of like palette of colors, so it all kind of like flows really nicely. But then you like start reading the captions and stuff, and I feel like the acne positivity movement is growing, and there's like so many new accounts, and I'm loving it. And every time I see someone who I feel like it seems like you had already been posting for years, but then I scrolled back and you only started posting sometime around February when it comes to your actual acne.
Yeah.
Why did you like start posting about your acne?
That is a great question. And to be quite frank with you, it is something that, so many people struggle with, myself included, and looking at myself every day in the mirror, I had this idea that I am less than, I am working towards an ideal standard of beauty. And in turn, I'm not accepting or embracing where I'm at on this journey. And that seemed completely wrong to me. To be fair, this all started, 6 months ago, 7 months ago, when I was backpacking through the Balkan countries in Europe. So what used to be Yugoslavia, I spent 5 months abroad, and that, in essence, I thought was sort of the starting point of this cystic acne breakout because of my diet. And so, so many people say, it's attributed to your diet. It's attributed to this. Have you washed your face? Blah, blah, blah. And I thought, oh my gosh, my skin has been doing so well, for quite some time. It's got to be my diet, because I went from being vegetarian, tampering in, say a vegan diet for a few years, and I went to eating dairy and meat every single day. So that, in essence, made me think, okay, it's my diet. Or maybe it's my lifestyle. I don't have a normal workout routine. Maybe I haven't been using the right products for my face because I'm living out of a backpack and I don't have access to all of these things. So truth be told, about 7 months ago, I started having this intense breakout, and here I am.
So it sounds like you were kind of confused about what caused your acne.
Yes.
In the long run. Do you think you have a better idea of what was causing it to flare up more than usual?
I do think my diet definitely had an effect on my skin. Granted, there are things that, we're all intolerant to. And by removing those things from our diets, we're able to see how we're affected by various things. So I've been taking part in a challenge to test out 3 areas of my life. My wellness routines, my eating habits, and then the products that I'm using. And what I've come to kind of realize is that there's a little bit of an effect on the clarity of my skin within each of these 3 areas by me manipulating them and seeing what happens. But I also think that, in some regards, it's out of our control. And I've realized that both my parents, my mom and my dad, struggled struggled with acne. And so I think in some way it could be linked to my genes. Who knows? Maybe we'll never know. I think the question still remains, what causes acne? And, I think it's not necessarily about the question. It's about how we handle it, how we embrace it.
I think that's one of the biggest parts about people like us who are sharing our journeys and sharing like our mindsets about it, because everyone is really focused on what can I do to fix my acne. But I think a lot of people keep on the wayside, like, you should improve your confidence and your self-esteem whether or not your acne can improve. Because even if you are able to completely eliminate your acne, if you've never worked on your confidence, if you've never worked on your self-esteem, you're still not going to have those things, because those are things you need to practice and build up over time. Yeah. And I kind of like what you're saying. I echo that. Like, you should never value yourself based fully on your acne and think that you don't have value because you do have acne and you can't get rid of it. Yeah. But
I like the word you say, fix, or I like that you say fix, because we're working towards this, this idea of perfection, and it doesn't exist. And for me to tell myself, Alexandra, you are beautiful with your acne, despite all of these things that our universe, that our society is claiming, is less than beautiful, less than ideal. I'm not personally wanting to change my skin just because of these societal norms. If I'm going to make a change, it's got to be because I love me and I choose to make that change and I want to move forward with that. And I think a lot of people, we're either weighed heavily on the ideas of others, or we just kind of accept it for what it is and say, F it, I'm rocking on. This is me and this is it. This is what I have to show forth for myself, and I'm cool with it. So
yeah, I love it. I love it. I think it's powerful what you're saying there. If you can love yourself with your acne and just fully say, like, I'm beautiful with or without acne, it can help you in so many other ways. Because if someone hasn't worked on their self-esteem, they eliminate their acne, right? They're going to be like, oh, I didn't notice how big my nose is, or like my cheeks are like kind of fat, or like my jaw isn't the right way and the other person looks better. So like, if you're not working on loving yourself, acne is just the most obvious thing that you're going to pick apart yourself with. But then you're going to get rid of your acne, and then all of a sudden you're going to be picking apart for yourself for other things. So I think what you're saying is like super important. We should all learn to love ourselves, and acne kind of is just like, it's just like a forced challenge. It kind of forces you to start training on how to love yourself. Yeah. So I think what you're saying is really, really good there.
I love how you use those words. Oh my goodness. Yes.
So I want to ask you, because we've been talking about kind of some things that you've been doing to improve your acne. Yeah. What are some things, and you kind of mentioned a few things before, so you might say them again, but what are some things that you noticed that definitely cause you more acne?
Oh, so I would definitely say dairy for me. So I think I have somewhat of an intolerance to gluten, soy, and dairy. That is evident in the changes that I've made in my diet. However, it's not made enough of a change to, to reduce all of my cysts, or to, make, I don't know what I'm trying to say, to make my skin more clear. So I've noticed a slight difference in, say, inflammation, but my acne still persists. Stress. I know stress is a huge one. That's, so many of us think, okay, what is in our environment that is putting so much pressure on us, or this, that, and the other. And I definitely think stress is something that causes my skin to break out. Personally, I put stress on myself, and I think moving towards meditation and, say, yoga, that's a good practice in order to reduce the stress in my life personally. But that's also something that I'm still working towards, because we're all figuring out how to manage stress in various regards. But yeah, my diet, stress levels, and essentially environment. As crazy as that might sound, I think moving from different environments, going to different places, the water sometimes has an effect on my skin. I notice it in, say, my hair as well. So the nutrients, the chemicals in the water, just various things. Yeah. Yeah.
I think a lot of people do think that acne is purely genetic or hormonal or family history, which those three factors are huge and they do play a giant part into it. But then they'll kind of like dismiss every other factor. And what you're saying is actually really interesting because I am super into the scientific studies. If there are any, I'm reading them as soon as they come out. And they did one recently where they checked people's acne levels in different cities that had higher and lower levels of air pollution, and they found that people who live in cities with higher air pollution actually had higher levels of acne. Isn't that crazy?
I'm not surprised at all.
Right.
It's crazy, but yeah, I'm not surprised. The environment, and I mean, we can't necessarily change our environment. And so I think we're quick to try and attribute these things to, the reason why we're experiencing a breakout or why we're having, acne at a certain age. And so when you're 13, 14, immediately you think, yeah, it's hormonal. My body's changing. Later on, I thought, oh my gosh, it's genetic. Even later on, I thought, oh my God, it's my diet. And, there is no answer. I think it's all of the above, and that's okay.
Yeah. I think it's very multifactored, so you can never really know exactly what it is. And again, it's like a mystery. You're always chasing it. You never know. You mentioned stress, and I think that was really interesting because I did a poll of 100 people on my Instagram account, and that was the second highest one after genetics. Do you think your account, if I well, I guess I did just find you, but if I just found you today and I looked at your account, I'd be like, she's got acne and it might be worse than mine is, but it seems like she's got a really good handle on how to just rock it and not worry about it. And it seems like she could just walk into, a grocery store and no one, not even bat an eye, or she could go on stage and give a speech. So it seems like you have a lot of confidence with it. Is there any time where that confidence kind of breaks? You know what I mean? Like your face is a little bit worse than usual or whatever, and you don't feel so good. You don't feel so confident.
Yeah, that is something that I'm kind of riding it out now. And I say riding it out, there's waves with everything. So I think in my mind's eye, I see this equilibrium, right? And there's this baseline where I want to be, and I want to be positive, and I choose to be happy, and I choose to love myself every day that I wake up. But there's always something, there's always a but. So yes, I definitely have days where, I have to give myself a pep talk, and I am notorious for actually giving myself a pep talk. I can't tell you how many times I've taken a step outside to my balcony and basically given myself a speech. Like, listen here, Alexandra, you're going to do the damn thing because you are here for a purpose and you are beautiful no matter what. So shake it off, cry it out, do whatever you need to do. But it's all good. It's going to be okay. And so I think embracing the lows makes you appreciate the highs even more. And so I do see this kind of equilibrium in my life. And when I am having a really low day, I think about all of the amazing things that I've been blessed with and all of the, things that I'm grateful for in myself, what makes me so awesome. And I talk to myself and I tell myself these things. And I think as humans, we need to do that more. And I want to do that for other people. I want to be a pep talk for someone else if they are feeling low or if they need a snap to get with it. Hey, girlfriend, let's let those thoughts go. Let them come in and just let them pass. Acknowledge they're there and just move on. But yeah, it's easy for humans, because we're only human, to get kind of stuck in a rut. So managing that is something that I've put a lot of energy into at this point in my life. And I think it comes down to choice. So when you say, do I get, hung up on my skin on bad days? Not anymore, because I've been able to practice this thing and practice, I guess, my own self-love in some way. So there's that.
Yeah, no, I think that was wonderful. I wanted to bring that up because I feel like you and I probably have a very similar idea about what you're saying. Embrace the low times, the times where you're feeling bad. Because a lot of people will look at our accounts, and because we do kind of, I guess, preach staying positive, choosing the most positive route to everything, always having a silver lining idea about things. A lot of people can say like, oh, that person is always happy. I'm not always happy, so I'm just not like them. But I think it's important for us to, sometimes highlight the fact that we are not always, in the best of mood. Things aren't always perfect for us. And then like you're saying, I think it's also important to, sometimes if you're feeling terrible, like it's okay to be like, you know what? I'm calling off the rest of the day. I'm gonna mope around today. Tomorrow I'm gonna make it killer. Yeah, but today I just want to sit home and watch my favorite movie and just just take care of me. Do like a me day.
Yeah, so I think preaching.
Yeah, I think we're killing it right now. I want to close this out with something I think you're gonna enjoy. Okay. If you were talking to yourself, somehow you had a time machine, you could talk to younger Alexandra, maybe 14, 15, 16-year-old. Or, just think about anybody who is dealing with acne right now. What is maybe like something you would say to yourself or a piece of advice you would give yourself about acne?
Yeah, I think my message, and I've given a lot of thought to this, is each one of us is a work of art. And I will say it until the day that I die because we are so uniquely different, and that's what makes us beautiful. And our differences, we should be raised up based on our differences, not brought down. And so I would tell, 14-year-old Alexandra to look in the mirror and speak positive affirmations to herself. Tell herself what she's good at, what she enjoys about herself, what she does for the lives of other people. What difference does she make in this world? Where is she going? Think about all of the larger things in her life that make her her, aside from just this thing staring at her in the mirror. And so I got caught up in the mirror as, a youngster. And I can remember staring at myself and being afraid to leave my house without a full face of makeup. I'd have nightmares about waking up at school with no makeup on. And all of these things kind of shaped me in essence in that time because it was crucial. No one else looked like me. And therefore I was afraid to show myself to the world because in some way I was isolated. I didn't have a role model to look up to with cystic acne. And so I made myself, I think, feel bad based on my differences because I didn't have others to lift me up, and I didn't really know how to lift myself up. So in that time, if I were to go back, I'd just tell myself to embrace yourself for what makes you different and just speak so much truth to the things that you do love about yourself. Say those out loud, manifest it, bring forth good things into your life and raise your frequency because I think positive and negative energy is everywhere. And, if I think about something, I can bring it into existence. And if I'm worried about my acne, it's only going to get worse. So if I think negative things, I'm only going to bring them into my life because, when I'm quote unquote, say manifesting, it's not about good or bad. It's just whatever you speak comes. And so when I'm being negative, those things come so hard. Those things come so quickly, so fast. And so I would say, girlfriend, get your frequency up. You are awesome.
I love it. I feel like we're absolutely our biggest critics. We look at the mirror this close to our face. Nobody is looking at your face this close to you.
I know. I was thinking about this today, and it's like I was afraid people were going to have a lasting impression of me and only remember me for my acne, not all of the, awesome things about myself or whatever. It's just based on what I look like. Heck, no, absolutely not. So yeah, that's a big realization and something that we all need to kind of step out of our own shoes and think, okay, when I'm looking at someone else, am I pulling them apart for the things I feel, that they don't add up to being this ideal perfection in society? No, I'm looking at people because I like their energy and they make me feel good and they're bringing something forth to the table and, everything but acne, essentially. Right. All the good things, all the important things.
You've got a great mindset, and I think people are going to really enjoy following you and kind of gaining some of that, like you're saying, that energy. I feel like when people see positive energy, it brings positive energy to them because their mind starts thinking in a positive way. So I think what you're doing is fantastic. I'm really glad you're part of the acne and skin positivity movement. Thank you for joining me today. And again, It's Alexandra_Breeze with an E at the end. Right?
Got it. Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we can talk to you again soon.
Rock on. Thanks, Brian.
All right, bye. Thank you guys for checking out the video today. If you want to see more of my videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Remember, you are not alone, you are beautiful, and you are a part of Team Acne. I'll see you guys in the next video.